the unfortunate pleasure of meeting me just yet. You know, it's funny, when William told me that I was going to be getting a microphone, I realized that I had a little bit to drink because the agent made something scream, "Are we doing karaoke?" But then I realized that, oh wait, you know, it's the best man speech. I have to keep myself under control here. And you don't want to hear me sing. There's a lot of glassware on the table. I would hate to damage anything. So at the end of the day, maybe if you're privileged enough to catch me in the wee hours of the parking lot, you might see it. But in any case, though, before I really get into this, I really just wanted to thank Dave for giving me this honor. You know, I was planning to actually kind of tear up towards the end here, but this part right here, I really can't thank him enough for giving me this honor and for asking me to do this. Best man. I mean, I remember when he called me to tell me this amazing news, this great news, and like any, you know, really just hardworking kid at home, I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops when he called, and I distinctly remember this phone call, and it's from David Gaines, and Dave rarely calls me. He sends a lot of text messages, you know, Facebook nonsense, whatever, but he rarely calls me, and so I distinctly remember going, God, he just got me killed. All right, fine. You know, and I hate to tell you this, Dave, because you didn't know this, but I had the phone to my ear. I was still playing at the time when you were informing me that I was going to be your best man. I was dropping an airstrike, and I really wasn't paying that close attention. But now I will be absolutely honest with you. As soon as you said the words "best man" for your wedding, I dropped the controller, and I didn't actually know what to say because it really caught me off guard. You know, I know we're close. I know, you know, we are best of friends, but I've been to a lot of weddings, and that is really an honor to me. And so I wanted to say that, you know, before I get into this thing, because, you know, you might regret your decision soon. Would it be you, or, you know, once I have a little bit more to drink, the family can use the dance floor, it looks like an advertisement for Dance Dance Revolution. I don't know. I mean, I might be going to the high score later, so it's fine, right? But it's fine. It's fine. You know, as long as I got a snort out of Heather, it's good. And as long as I have one of my fellow groomsmen standing in front of me as I'm dancing going, "Outstanding! High score! You rock! You do it!" We'll be fine. We'll be fine. But anyway, on a more serious note, as we get back to this, you know, coming up with what to say tonight really was actually a lot of work, and you know, I was really thinking about this thing, and you know, I decided, you know, I should sit down and write this thing, have 1-2 glasses of, well, actually 1 or 2 bottles of wine, and you know, that's when it hit me, and you know, alcoholics like to refer to this as a moment of clarity. And I suddenly realized that all this is I get to roast one of my best friends. Right? And so, what an honor that is, because, I mean, as I was telling people, you know, yes, I was nervous about the speech, but I also love the sound of my own voice. And so to roast this man is such an honor. And so, you know, what I wanted to talk about is obviously, you know, we discussed the thing, you know, Stephanie brought up one of the things that she loves the most about Dave is his unique sense of humor. And his unique sense of humor is also what brought, you know, he and I together as friends, what actually brought all of us together as friends. I had a moment with Kevin actually outside. I won't get into it. We went to the bathroom together, but it was, you know, we didn't plan it. We just happened to go. And he said, you know, this is my first wedding, and I'm having just a phenomenal time. And I said, Kevin, sorry, this is kind of a rarity for weddings, because no, we've not a great time. They're even a worse time if they decide not to go for the open bar. And, but this is really an unusual occasion because all of us groomsmen here today, we are all close friends. John, you're odd man out, but at the same time, I feel really close to you. I mean, earlier today, John came by the room at exactly the time I told him I wasn't even ready. And he came by, he caught me when I was in the middle of getting to the shower, and it was a little awkward, but it was a bonding experience, and now we're close to four. So for that reason, he is now in the group. But anyway, we're all close friends, and it's a rare occurrence for groomsmen to actually be as close as we all are, and actually for even Dave to have chosen me as the best man, it really could have been any of these guys. And we really are all that close, and it's really rare that you get to basically have a wedding and have an all-star lineup like this. Not to toot our own horns or anything, but yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, it's a very unique sense of humor. It's really what brings us all together. And, I individually asked, some of the grooms, I was like, I was just kind of curious if you guys had, individual, stories to tell, that really link to Dave and everything. I had some, certainly, but, just kind of curious, anything off the top of the head. Easy, dude, easy. Can we get a refill here? No, anyway, though. I think Tom put it the best when I talked to him last night briefly, and he said, it's tough to quantify the kind of relationship we have with Dave, because it really is the little things that just kind of all add up, and it's tough to really just put a specific story that makes us all work together, because oddly enough, we all met in a parking lot. Not at once, but, on separate occasions. Dave was asking for money. I agreed to give $1 to put my groceries in the car, so. But no, we met over cars, seriously, that's the truth. And, but really, we all kind of came together over small things. But, I had a few stories that just, as soon as I was starting to write this thing, it was just, bam, oh my God, this is what makes Dave Dave. That unique sense of humor, that sarcasm, that cynicism, that is Dave, right? It's like when you go, when I remember a while back when we lived together and he used to work for Wells Fargo, and it would be the little things that he would do to, I want to say annoying now. Piss off actually might have been a better word back then. But, time heals and it's fine. It would be like when he input our cell phone numbers into the fax machine, and it would redial us every 30 seconds, 10 times. So it was a time that I would come home from class, a long day of class at ASU, and I play a lot of video games, but I'm a hard-working idiot. I study a lot. I do calculus in my free time. All I want to do when I come home is check out. What does he do when he comes home in his lunch break? Well, he turns on the TV, he puts on the Evangelist channel, turns the volume up as high as he can go, so as soon as I walk into the garage door, it says, "The power of Christ compels you!" And I practically fall over because I have no idea what's happening. And I can't believe someone would do that. It's the little things. It's like when Dave gets bored at work. Jumps on his computer. He's the only person in the history of the world to ever make me regret the invention of the internet. And he takes one of our good friends, Kevin here, this fine gentleman, and he signs him up as an interested candidate for the Mormon faith. But there was 5 of us living in a house, and go figure the one time that they come by, short sleeve shirts, black ties, bicycle helmets and all. Hello, this is Mr. Kevin Stevens here. gentleman answers the door. No, he's actually not. Can I help you? Oh, yes. Well, we have a DVD for him. We understand that he's interested in the page. Okay. This is a rare occurrence here because I didn't actually remember this part of the story, but because they just interjected, it suddenly just became memorable. But I will try and keep the details under the rated R line. We'll call it PG-13 and a half. That's what we're going to call it. And, just because these pranksters are just so, for the longest time there was a DVD circulating amongst friends. And it was in an inappropriate nature, but it became a tradition for every guy, every one of our friends' birthdays, basically just to pass it around, and like this DVD just made it around. It was, unspeakable things. We'll just say it was made in Hollywood and, really under budgeted and everything. So, for lack of better, I'm pretty sure that, the extent of the video editing was pretty much MS Paint. So, with that in mind, these fine gentlemen took a DVD and the CD that was passed to Kevin, and they used the printer, used the scanner, redid the label, switched it around. When they came back to see if Kevin had enjoyed the DVD, Kevin politely replied, well, I watched it, but I'm actually not interested. Please take this back. I hate to see it go to waste. I did not do this. Do not see me. I am simply the messenger in this case. And so it's done, but nonetheless, it's these guys. And one last story I'll go and tell you that pretty much kind of sums up just the sort of humor that you have living with this guy right here. So, most of the group are right over here. There's one man over here. This is Pat Galesworth. Right there. He's looking at me in horror. I can see him on Pat's floor and he's fine. Pat lived on the bottom floor of the house. Everyone else lived on the second floor. And the bottom floor meant two things. One, you had some of the most space. Two, you also were prime candidate for any prank that could possibly happen in this home. So much to the point that Pat actually installed a different lock on the door to try and save himself. But Dave being Dave, simple locks do not stop this man. This man is not easily stopped by, I don't care what your armed guards, it doesn't matter. He's straight ninja. He'll just slip in, slip out, it's done. And, this was a period, I think this was a dark period in Pat's life. He played a lot of World of Warcraft at one point. This is Call of Duty Blackouts. I'm going to bring up World of Warcraft. It's fine. Anyway, Dave decided that it would be a good idea to take some toilet paper, put a Tootsie Roll in it, put it in the microwave, and see what happens for about 60 seconds. He then proceeded to take that while Pat was actually away in the bathroom, in the middle of whatever World of Warcraft battle was. He proceeded to just kind of throw it underneath his desk, and then just kind of run out of the room and act like he's watching TV in the family room. And, so he lets Pat go back in there, 5 minutes go by or so, there's a lot of, dying, fire, magic, whatever. And he goes into the room, and he's like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, oh, Pat's like, just, playing a little WoW. And he's like, oh, okay, dude, long day at work, and just, what's that? Dude, what's that smell? And Pat's just like, what are you talking about? No, this is really, what is that? Dave, what are you talking about? Pat, it smells like crap in here. Dave, what are you, and then, of course, Dave, is that toilet paper in your desk? Yeah. So, that's the kind of pranks that I pretty much lived with for about 2-3 years, and, I came to really love it, and appreciate him for the entirely wrong reasons, but nonetheless, really come to appreciate this man. And, with those stories in mind, Steph, when I was standing at the ceremony, it was a beautiful ceremony, and, they didn't they didn't bring up any objections or anything. They didn't ask if anyone, objected to anything. And, I was actually kind of waiting for it because, you know what? If anyone has any objections, I'm like, Steph, are you sure? I mean, really? I know this guy. Are you sure? No, but on a more serious note, coming back down as I try to tie this thing up. On a more serious note, one thing that, Dave's a great friend. Dave's great at a lot of things. One of the worst things he's in the history of the world is probably the use of his cell phone. We're some of his best friends. I mean, some of these guys among you grooms and we're some of his closest and best friends. We've been with him through thick and thin, and we can't get a text message response. We can barely get a phone call answer. And it's funny that I think about cell phones as just being so important in this little story because, Steph, I've been with Dave on numerous occasions when he's with me and you're obviously either at the time you were in school and everything. You're the only person to ever reach him on a cell phone, and at the same time, if his phone goes dead, he will frantically pull the battery off, try to statically charge it with his sleeve. And then try and return your call or text message or something. And I'm like, Dave, I can't even get like a smiley face back. Like I'm talking like colon, parentheses, that's it. I can't even get that. I'm his best man. So, if that's not him showing how much he loves you, I really don't have a better way of, a better idea of trying to, portray that. And so yeah, but anyway, I want you to know that, I know that I'm a good judge of people. My mom tells me every day. She also tells me I'm handsome and smart. Still though, I have to retake the 3rd grade. That's a joke. But more importantly though, I do know that, I know integrity, I know quality when I see it. And, these grooms that are among you, they're some of my closest friends. And even the people that are in the audience that came here to attend from Arizona are also some of my closest friends, some of my best friends. And, I try and be as generous as I can to the people that I know that are closest to me, and the people that really I don't feel are worth it don't get anything from me. But no, in all honesty, I know great people when I see them, and I certainly know the best people when I spend time with them, and you and Stephanie are some of the best. And I'm sure I speak for everyone here when I say that we only wish you both the best, and we know that your life will be great together. And once again, it's been such an honor, but here's to the two of you. Hope